Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Power of the Tribe. And we are Get Ready for Your LinkedIn Makeover, Day 5. I have Jess Tiffany with us, and I'm excited about today. We are going to get to talk about content creation, what that looks like, and engaging content that will actually get your message out there. So I'm going to take it away. Jess, good morning. Hi.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you. Excited to share today. So, should we do the screen share now then?
You in charge. Take it away.
Sure.
We're glad to have you. Oh wait,
All right. Sounds good.
introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and as one of my LinkedIn gurus.
Sure. So actually, the slides about that a little bit, so I can just run through that real quick and kind of built into my little thing here. So,
Okay, good.
how do I share screen here?
Do you want me to see if I will share with you? And let's see if that does that. And
Sure.
so it should be on you now.
Oh, I think I see your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Or do I stop share and?
Oh yeah. Stop share and then let me.
Got it.
I think we were showing your screen. All right, here we go. Share. There we go. All right. Well, maybe that is my screen. I don't know. All right. So this is what I need right here.
Oh wait, everyone looks lovely. That was one of the sunny days, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I had this present mode already. All right, here we go.
Great picture.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So this is so I run these two companies, the Marketing Networking University, which is an online business education portal. So you go there and take courses, and then I have we found out people couldn't really get some of the stuff, and they were asking lots of questions, and we were doing a whole bunch of stuff for free for people to help them, and then we decided we should have a agency to support that. So we spun that off. So
great. All right. I will definitely have the links down to your with your presentation. That's so people can get access to all that good information. Love it.
Okay. So I'm born in Ellendale, North Dakota, moved to North Dakota as a kid, met a redhead. She lived in Minneapolis, and now I'm here. And so that's a really quick synopsis. I don't want to spend much time on this stuff, but my beautiful daughter, Amethyst, on the top left, Jessamine on the top right, and Sterling, my boy, and my little azalea flower at the bottom there. So those are my beautiful kids. That's my why. That's why I get excited about life and everything. So anyways, in the process of building the Marketing and Networking University, I needed to get a hold of top-level speakers and different people at different profession levels. And I found LinkedIn just did the trick and ended up writing a book about it because I thought it would be useful for other people with my journey, how I got the first 10,000 connections in less than a year. And basically, and I got published in all those magazines you see there. And I write for Six Figure Coach magazine and Authority magazine. But anyway, so that's kind of how everything blew up with the book, and started doing a lot of LinkedIn training all over the place. And that kind of brings us to today. So that's kind of the quick overview there.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah. So when you're building content, one of the biggest things you need to know is who you are targeting. And so a lot of times we just go, oh, I like this, and I grab that, and here's something the thought of the day that I popped in my head. And you can do that stuff too, but really want to focus on, who are your ideal clients? Who are your dream clients? Who's the authors that you want to reach out to someday in the future? Different things. Who's going to be good collaborators, joint venture partners? But focus your marketing on grasping those people's attention, because ultimately that's who you want to reach and contact with. And so those are kind of how I build my connections, is with that in mind, as well as when I build my content. I want to build my content based on reaching out to those people, capturing their interest and drawing them in.
So basically, just when you're looking at content, first to decide who your target audience is, and then write for them, them in mind.
Right. Keep them in mind. You got to keep your own personality in there, obviously, and if you have a certain quirky humor or something, incorporate that into your. You don't want to lose you in the process, but those are the people you're going after. And one thing I always tell people to keep in mind is the buyer's journey. So there's people, I'm marketing this mostly for B2B and business and marketing, and that side of it. I'm not looking for a job per se, but some of these same ideas can be applied there. But there's people along the journey to buy a product. And so there's people at the top of the funnel or the bottom of the funnel, as they say, but 99% of the marketing is done for the now buyers, which only makes up about 1% of the marketplace. So if you can kind of change your mindset of just trying to sell to that 1%, and that's the people where you get a lot of complaints about, like, as soon as I connected to them, they started selling me stuff all the time. And that's kind of annoying to a lot of people if you're not looking to buy right then. They do find that 1%, and that's how they make their money. But really, if you can go to your future buyers, the people are going to buy, the soon-to-be buyers. Most people need about 20 touches of a business or a company or even a person before they feel confident in dealing with that person or communicating with that person, relating to that person. So if you can get those 20 touches in a shorter period of time, you can do that through feeding them content continuously. So anyway, you want to reach out. Keep this in mind when you're doing your content. Is have some stuff for future buyers, some stuff for soon-to-be buyers, and then occasionally throw in a buy signal. But you don't have to push your stuff on everybody all the time. Just keep that in mind. People are all along the journey. You want to establish the relationship and bring them to that point where they're finally ready to do business with you. All right. So curate content. So there's one way to get content is to find content. You don't have to have everything original all the time. It's nice if you can, and if you got time to do that, that's great. But what you can do is find out what's going on in the marketplace. So one good place is called zest.is, especially for marketers. That specifically one's better for marketers than most areas. But what it allows you to do is basically a group of people have already curated all this content, and it's kind of like, hey, this is what's trending all over the place. And basically you're able to go there and grab the content and then place it on a social media platform that you want to put it on.
Is it business focused, or it's just what's trending?
This one is a little bit more business focused, this particular one.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then LinkedIn trends. So there's a trending section in LinkedIn you can look at, so you can kind of see what's hot. There's also kind of like a news area. And that news area basically talks a lot right now about coronavirus or, different things like that. But you kind of see what's hot and then basically take some of those ideas and then reconfigure it to your message and put it out there with your messaging. So it's kind of like borrowing ideas, basically. Another great place is Reddit. Reddit's kind of like the giant newspaper of the universe. And there's all kinds of topics, but you can kind of see what's trending there and then take that trending idea or trending topic and then put your own spin on it and present it, to see what people on LinkedIn think about it. So that gives you, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so in addition to having content that is going to be geared towards your targeted audience, you're actually getting things that are viable and trending, which means it should get more engagement because it's something that's relevant.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, you don't have to reinvent the wheel on a lot of this if you want engagement. You have to find out what people are already interested in. And that's where like Reddit and the trends and some of these other things come in handy, because you can see what's already viable, what's working, and you can just recreate that. Um, Google Alerts. What I like about Google Alerts is I can get, so like if my company's mentioned, but you can also do things like what's happening in a certain industry. So if you're marketing to a certain, like say, um, right now I'm helping one of my clients is going after the medical market. So I could have a Google alert set up. So anything with certain keywords for the medical market pop in on the internet. So I get an alert, and then I can go read that information and then repurpose, put that together in my own spin and present that. So that's a good little tip you can do. Industry hashtags on LinkedIn. You can type in like hashtag productivity if you want to have some, come up with some productivity tips that you want to put out or something like that. And then you can reconfigure that into whatever method you want. Clip grab. Now, I don't recommend using something like this very often, but clip grab will basically go to YouTube and you can copy down any video. So you can go there, grab a video of, say, Muhammad Ali winning some championship, and then you can take a clip of that and then put, something about overcoming and, or do a quote from Muhammad Ali to share. But you can grab all kinds of different things and add a relatable business twist to that messaging. And sometimes those will get thousands and thousands of views because a lot of people relate to it and get excited about whatever that imagery is. So that's something to look at there. So, all right. So a couple tools you can use that can kind of help out. One is called Lingo Jam, and you can Google it. But basically, it's a fancy text editor. So occasionally on LinkedIn, when you see the posts that have the little fancy typing and stuff like that, and I use it in my profile too, so somebody might have already covered that, but it's a cool little tool that you basically can type in whatever you want to say, and then it gives you about 50 different fancy weird fonts, like the one you see there. That's one of them. Sometimes it has emojis mixed in with the letters and stuff, but you can do all kinds of different things. And then you can take that, copy and paste it into your LinkedIn, into your text, and make your posts stand out from other posts that are out there. So that's kind of a nice little nifty little tool out there.
Quick question with that. So, I mean, obviously, when it comes to LinkedIn, when it comes to you're restricted. So this is a way of a cut and paste to get around having that bland font and non.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
It works in almost every area of LinkedIn currently. So it doesn't use the same amount of characters. So like every letter, I think is like the equivalent of 3 letters at that point. So you will lose some quantity of letters you can put in, but if you're just doing a post or using it for your headline on your main LinkedIn page, then you're generally just fine. So, and then I like to use GIFs sometimes, like on the slide there, you see the little thing blowing up there. That's a GIF, kind of like a miniature, super small video. But basically, those you can get thousands and thousands of them on Giphy, and you can find one that relates to some topic you're talking about, or something funny, or whatever it is, and you can use that to put in your post, and that draws when people are looking down their feed and they see this, funny thing popping out at them, they're more likely to look at that. So, and then I use Unsplash and Pixabay a lot, or Pixabay, is how you say that. And those are free picture sites. So you can go there and download millions of pictures that are copyright free. So you're safe, so you don't have to worry about copyright stuff and stuff like that. Some of them require you to attribute a photographer or something, but typically they don't. So another one I've recently discovered, it does cost money. Most of those are free so far, but promo does cost money. But what it does is it basically allows you to make your own videos. So if you're not a videographer, like I'm not, so I do a lot of where you stick your face in front of the little phone and talk. But on some of my other videos, I basically go to promo. What I can do is I can basically pick from thousands and thousands of little video clips, and then I can add in my own words, my own dialogue, my own, whatever I want to into those. And I can make kind of pretty nice little videos that I'm able to use on on LinkedIn, and a lot of times those videos do very well. Like I did one on some tips for the going through the coronavirus or whatever, and I basically edited and made my own little tip sheet that suggestions, and it did fairly well. So uh, another one is Canva, and a lot of people know about that one, but it's a great tool. I use it quite a bit. You can make pictures and you add your own words and things to it to pass on your message. It works good for making little lists or different things like that. And another thing I didn't put is documents are doing real well right now. If you upload like a PDF report or something like that, those are really doing well right now with LinkedIn. So that's another one there, a bonus one that's not on my list there. So let's see here.
So I have to cut in here. So
Yeah,
we're having a little background noise in my house, and this is actually really, really funny because I have a 17-year-old son.
yeah.
And guess what he's decided to do now? Of all the times you would get a 17-year-old boy to clean, he's cleaning now. So I just had to put the irony of that and working from home. So then,
I heard my kids coming in from outside yelling about something just a minute ago. I don't know if it made the recording or not, but if you're talking about there.
well, you know what? We must be doing something engaging because we're getting blessed by all this background noise and grateful
Yes.
to be home and with the ones we love, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. All right. So a couple things to get more explosive growth is personal stories naturally garner more traffic. And so if you can tell a story or something that you're passionate about and really put that into text form, it really does extremely well. But if you want to take it up a notch, then you jump it into video. So you do that same thing. You have it written out as well, but then you also add the video, and it adds a bigger, doubles your dynamic. That and if you can get the little words to scroll on the video, that's even better. So there's some different services out there. I believe that can do that for you, or you can manually do it. YouTube will do it if you download the file from it. So there's different ways to get that, but it's a great way to get more engagement. And then you want to ask a question. So I always tell people to like their own post. I know it sounds kind of corny, but LinkedIn algorithm doesn't care if I like it or you like it or anybody likes it. It just kind of says, hey, you got a like there. So I tell people to like their own post, but some people think that's silly, but or some people even get mad at me about it. But if you don't want to like your own post, don't like your own post. But I found that it seems to increase engagement. So. Right. So I just put a couple posts in here. The one here, my own website hit number 0 on Google. So it's actually the snippet, which I thought was really cool. So I shared it. So, but when you have things that happen in your business or your life, you can share that because it's about you. Again, you want to reach out to your folks, but if you get an award or something, you should share it. You do have to occasionally tell people about that sort of stuff. So
you keep hinting about being authentic, and it's just so crucial that, again, it's not being bland for everyone. It's being to attract those people that really want to work with you, and being yourself through that. There is this further reach to that than actually just trying to please everyone. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bland. Bland might get you numbers, but it won't get you engagement. It won't get you. And it won't create income much either, because people want to work with people they built a relationship and they trust. So whatever you can do to create trust. So what you want to do when somebody comments, what I like to do is, even if they just like your post, I like to thank them for it. It's gotten where I can't keep up with it anymore, to be honest. But as I was building it, if somebody liked it, I'd say, hey, thank you for liking this. Did you have any, and then I'd pose a question. And what would happen is a lot of times they'd see that, and then they would go back in and go and answer the question. So all that stuff, every time you engage, every time there's a like, there's a comment, LinkedIn's going, oh, somebody likes this, we should show it to more people. So then you get more eyeballs on your content. And then when you get more eyeballs on your content, then it just kind of perpetuates itself. And then if you were asking questions and involved in the content, it creates more likes and comments throughout the post, and it keeps just getting boosted and boosted. So sometimes you'll have posts that live on for weeks and weeks, whereas other times you'll have posts that die because there isn't a lot of action on it. So if you can create that action, it makes a big difference.
Can you talk about the validity of the first hour and that then is a threshold for the next and what that looks like?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've got the math behind it, but it's definitely a fact of life that if you can get some traction in the first hour, you get hundreds, if not thousands, of more views of your content. And I see it every day. So I do cheat occasionally. I'll send a note to my buddy, a couple buddies on my email list or whatever, and say, "Hey, I did this post. Would you mind checking it out? And if you like it, would you hit it? Hit the button." And sometimes I'll do that if it's a post that I really want to do well. I don't do that very often, to be honest, but I do occasionally. But sometimes you can tag people. That's one way to get a little more engagement. You can say at such and such, or I like to thank people or send out a lot of like kudos type stuff. There is a new feature on your app, by the way, called Kudos, which you can check out too, but on LinkedIn's app. But basically, you can get, if you give praise to somebody and then tag them, it builds a lot of goodwill, if nothing else for the relationship piece of it. But also what happens is other people see that goodwill and they're like, I want to be associated with people that show goodwill. And a lot of times they'll start sending you some more. You might actually get connection requests out of that. So that does happen.
Would this be an actual post, or would this be in the engagement part of the post, or both?
Both. Wherever you can give blessings to somebody, that's a great place. I do like to do posts, like, or if I'm like, now I can't as much, but if I'm meeting somebody and I'm at some place, we do a selfie together, and then praise that person and his business, his company, and what he's doing, to try to help him out, or her, or whatever, obviously, whoever I'm with at that day, and a lot of times that gets a fair amount of traction. So people that are friendly.
No, I love being a supportive alliance. It's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, it's all about relationships. So, that's where the referrals come from. That's where the business comes from, and that's where your friendships come from that are online as well. So, it's just good to be nice. So, one other quick tip here is the one on the right there. So this is Sean Rain. He actually did. He wrote the little, I don't know what you call it, in the back of my book, the little praise thing. But we've kind of become friends a little bit. But he's over in China there. Before it was a disease area. But he has a very large following. He's got like 4 or 5 bestsellers and stuff like that. But what you can do is, if you are in a relationship, business relationship, whatever, with somebody that's more influential, if you can share their content for them through your network, you basically double your size of your audience, because his audience sees he got tagged in it, and he likes and comments on it, and then his audience sees that, plus my audience sees that, and so we kind of get this little bit of a mini flood of likes and comments. So that's just a little tip for you.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very cool.
So, and and then when you're featured, like in a podcast or something, share that stuff, because that builds your credibility, which impacts people, and they want to, more people want to connect to you when they feel like you're moving on. People that are stagnant, people that aren't as excited to connect to you. But if people know that you are a person that's on fire, they want to get where the heat is. So.
How did you guys originally meet?
Who?
Sean.
Or Sean. We met through LinkedIn. And then we talked a few times and we ended up on a phone call. I think the original thing was I offered, this is a huge key. I have a blog that has a pretty good, whatever you call it, domain authority. So I asked Sean to write a blog post for my website. So it did two things. It basically boosted him. He got a good backlinks for his search engine optimization, and I got content I didn't have to write.
Fabulous.
So it was a total win for me and him. And because I offered to do that, I just reached out to him and offered to do that for free. He later, when I wrote my book, he was happy to do a review for me.
Love it. That's good stuff.
So if you can serve people, give without expecting, and then a lot of times it'll come back later. I can't tell you how many times that's happened where, you just sewed into somebody, you tried to help somebody find a job, whatever it is. It can't help everybody, but I know I'm going to get 670 resumes now because I said it on the video here, but I was able to help some people find jobs or people to reach out to, and different things like that. But you just help people to be nice, and a lot of times later on, 3 years later, they get promoted to some big position, and all of a sudden they're your ally. So you don't know what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years. So make your friends now, keep them, and be nice to them.
Lead from a place of generosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
All right. Yeah, I guess I mentioned this already, but thank everybody that likes your posts to increase your engagement, and just because people like to be recognized. So if you recognize them, they appreciate that. And then if you ask a follow-up question, again, they'll make comments and answer your questions. And what's cool sometimes is you'll have a 15-string dialogue with somebody on your comment, and it as a byproduct, it gets seen by another 100 or 500 or 1,000 people. Just because there's traction on it, and LinkedIn sees that. So, so that's the end of my official slides. So,
I love this. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about calls to action and some that you might use for engagement.
Yeah. A lot of times I use questions in my post. So I'll say something. Maybe something that's a little bit controversial, and I'll say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And people will say, oh, that makes me mad, or oh, that makes me happy, or whatever it is. And then you comment on that, and then you ask it a follow-up question if it makes sense. Occasionally I'll throw in a hey, I have this upcoming event online. Why don't you check it out? I'd really appreciate it. Whatever. Love, say something like love to see you there, or, things like that. Or I might say, if this sounds exciting to you, write exciting in the comments, and then you'll get 50 people write exciting in the comments, and it kind of creates a little bit of virality as well. I don't do a lot of hard pushing. I don't go buy my product, once in a blue moon, I might say, hey, by the way, we have this sale going on. Might save you $50 over what we normally do. So maybe that's helpful. Just thought I should let you know just in case it helps. So it's kind of I do a lot of by the way sales, I guess.
So getting into that, because there are the people, even before you meet them or connect with them, trying to sell, or the moment you accept, you get the whole 3 paragraphs of that's that's I wouldn't say a no, but that's not the right approach, right? And then what's that look like in the middle? Where's the absolute content that would not be appropriate? And what does that look like in the middle? So for instance, we're doing the summit now, right? And so that I'm promoting that, but then but I'm promoting it because it's also something that's educational and it's supportive to other people and being able to maximize their profile. So that's okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, things that are educational or it's going to help your audience. Yeah, I would have no qualms about sharing that information. I may not do it in my initial like outreach per se. On a post, yeah, like in my emails or in mails, I should say. Um, on those, I'm usually a little bit more like, hey, I'd like to connect for XYZ reason, and then when they connect, then I say, hey, thanks for connecting. If I can ever be of service, please let me know. And then I do like a super signature sometimes. I'll do my name, my title. I'll put a link to my free LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet.
Okay.
I don't offer it to them. I just have it look. It just looks like it's part of my signature. Just automatically kind of shows up in my signature. Is what it kind of looks like. And so, but then 10% of the people download it, and then they're on my drip marketing campaign for LinkedIn marketing. So.
And yet you gave them something. So again, coming from a place of generosity, that's really clever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sometimes will ask them if they want it first. I kind of go back and forth, but I just kind of passively have it in my underneath my name, and or sometimes I've said like home of the LinkedIn or the free LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet or something, and post it at the bottom, stuff like that.
So okay, so then what is and we know that person at the party that's has their business card out. We can see them on LinkedIn as well, right? That person we know, and it's not about the relationship. They're all the hard sale, and even before they get to know you, and there's nothing wrong with being confident in your sale in the sense of when you get to give someone your service and you're supporting them. So, but what is the no-nos? Give us some absolute that would not be, because again, LinkedIn is very different than Facebook and other forums. So what's a no-no to LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is not really made for dating.
Okay.
I get them. I don't mostly. It's more women percentage wise get them by far, but I do get them occasionally too. It's kind of off putting a little bit, but I'm like, I'm married. Get back off. But anyway, but I know that a lot of women are almost harassed on LinkedIn on a regular basis, from what I hear, and so I would say that's a no-no. You can be nice and flatter somebody, I think, kind of softly without being aggressive and ticking people off. But I think it's a little bit weird on LinkedIn to even go there. I don't like when people. I personally not a big fan of the as soon as I connect, bam, instant message to buy my product. In my talk, I call it a dog, a dumb over aggressive gorilla head. But it's a little. I got little kids who make up weird acronyms sometimes for things, but and I tell people, don't be that dog. That's just like as soon as you connect, they jump on you. And but I don't think that's the right approach most of the time. Certain things like events or something, if you want to, use Sales Navigator and spam everybody for not having a better word, I think that's fine. You're saying, hey, this is an exciting event, come check it out. I don't know if you're interested or not, but I thought I'd tell you about it. I'm okay with that. I just don't like the hardcore sales pitches right away. I know it works to a certain percent. Again, if they find the right now buyer. In fact, I've bought some stuff from people occasionally because I'm like, what they sent me was like, it was good enough that I was like, the products sound good, even though I didn't like their approach. So occasionally I'll even fall for that because I'm a little bit gullible. But anyway, but the other thing is like when you're in posts, don't don't post your random link to go buy something in some post that has nothing to do with that. I mean, if it's a topic about LinkedIn, I might say, hey, check out my LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet because I can see it'll add value to some of the folks here. But if you're in the middle of a LinkedIn post about LinkedIn and it says go buy my car here, it's kind of like, well, why? That doesn't really fit. So you want to have your message match the the messaging that's out there. Otherwise, you stand out as a kind of a weirdo. So those are, I guess, a couple there. I'm sure I could think of more, but don't spam everybody's group page if you can. Try to make it relevant to that group somehow. At least customize the message if you're going to share it with people. I don't know. That doesn't bother me much because I don't spend a whole bunch of time in the groups, all the time because they aren't as effective as they used to be. But however, they are improving. So the groups are getting a lot better the last year or so.
Okay, so question. That is something then too. I belong to a few groups, and to be quite honest, I'm not sure what to do with them. I mean, I try to engage and I go back and forth, but is there more ways to engage in groups and to target more people?
So there's a couple things you can go in, and this is kind of a little ninja trick, I guess. If you're a member of a group, you can message anybody in that group. Whether you have InMail or you have premium, you don't have premium, you can go in there and say and I do that sometimes. I'll go in there and say, hey, I'm messaging you from the XYZ group. We're both members of that. Hey, I had this question for you. Something, it's a very soft approach, but just a what do you call it? An icebreaker to basically start a conversation with that person.
Okay.
I don't do it a ton because I usually go through the connection method to get to people to do that. But like if somebody's kind of they didn't answer my connection request or something, I can still message them through there and just say, hey, I saw this on your website and I have this product over here. I think if we did a joint venture, it'd be really successful. Are you available to chat about that if you're open to the idea? And just little nuggets like that, just throw out little comments like that, and sometimes they'll engage, and then all of a sudden you have a business deal.
Okay.
Once you get on the phone, key is to get it off LinkedIn and onto.
It's something that they're appreciating, and it's very it's about their business, and so then there's synergy there. Okay. Are you a big one on virtual coffee? Just for
I don't know if the word seems to work that like the term, but I do a 15-minute call.
Okay.
Like I just say, hey, let's check in. Let's have a quick call. Let's do a 15-minute chat. And I don't have a fancy name for it. I know some people call it like a CEO call or a virtual coffee break, or I haven't thought of some clever name for it that I can, trademark for my own company. But right now it's a 15-minute chat.
Okay. Okay, good. All right then. So last words, and what are you working on, and what can we look forward to seeing for you upcoming, Jess?
Yeah. Well, so kind of my specialty is, and what I do a lot of work on is a thing I don't talk about much is I've published over 200 books and been featured in tons and tons of magazines and different stuff like that. Been on 25 plus podcasts and all kinds of different stuff. But what I do, it's help people become online superstars. So basically, if you take your personal brand, help you, write a book, publish a book, become a bestseller, be a superstar on LinkedIn, have your own personalized website, so that your name as a person, as a brand, dominates on Google. And that's kind of what I do. So I'm helping people realize that for their company, especially people that have like lifestyle brands, or they're a business trainer, a business coach, those sort of things. So, but the best places to reach me is jesstiffany.com. JessTiffany.com. Or obviously on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably the number one place to get me. Second is my website. And and I do have a free LinkedIn marketing cheat sheet. I guess I mentioned 12 times on the, today. So I'll get you a link for that too. So.
All right, good. No, thank you. I'll make sure that in your clip that we will have the website all ready to go. And I'm looking forward to having that link so this way everyone can get their hands on that cheat sheet. And yes, you heard him correctly. Over 200 books. That's prolific and with a capital P. So we're really thrilled to have you. We're looking forward to seeing more and hearing more from you. And thank you for coming on and sharing, because this is just so supportive for our audience and getting their message out there to their targeted audience.
Awesome. Okay. I just like to help. Hope it is beneficial.
Terrific. All right. Listen, the kids are gorgeous, and enjoy as we are all still in lockdown, and we'll look back on this when we're out and remember these days. But thank you. And all right. Yeah, we will see you soon.
Thank you.